Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Today is Friday, August 16th, Juma Mubarak, and Bitcoin is at 58,900. And I got a short and sweet one for you today, and then I'll let you be on your way. Enjoy your weekend, inshallah. But before you do that, make sure to leave a like. Anything in this live is not financial advice, it's just the musings of myself. So be sure to do your own due diligence before making any investing decisions. Chocolate Wallah, wa alaikum salam. It's nice to see you. Today we had a really great in-depth discussion about Supermicro computer. We analyzed the stock. This was, I think, the highest return S&P stock at one point, Supermicro computer this year. So we did a deep dive into that for our elite members. So if you'd like access to elite member content, make sure to become an elite member. Link to do so is in the description. Happy weekend to you as well, Rashad. Nice to see you and nice seeing you earlier today. Macro data this week, we got a rich amount of macro data this week, and it PPI, CPI, and retail sales, I think, supported both a rate cut and the notion that the landing of the economy will be somewhat soft. If we get a recession, it will be a mild one, not a deep one. So all encouraging data points. Right now, the market is pricing in 72% chance for a 25 basis point cut and a 27% chance of a 50 basis point cut. Now, when will Bitcoin resume its upward march? Well, in short, whenever monetary liquidity starts resuming its upward march as well. Now, despite the fact that we are on 4-year cycles for monetary liquidity, and as we will see in a chart I'm going to show you, we are set or expecting a rise in monetary liquidity. The fear and greed index is now approaching fear again, which tells you that the market is inefficient because right now, I think we are consolidating ahead of a pretty juicy run in the markets. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen or resume, in the next few weeks or in the next few months. But I know it's coming. And so right now, I think it's important for people who were, excited about Bitcoin when it was at 70,000 to be more excited when it is in the 50s, because I don't know how long that's going to last for. Now, the spot Bitcoin ETF assets under management have plateaued since March. And that has corresponded quite nicely with a plateau in the price of Bitcoin. So we had a big spike up and then we had a long consolidation. But the longer the consolidation, typically the longer the break, either upwards or downwards, or the more aggressive the break upwards or downwards. And in the case of Bitcoin, if history is any guide, we are on schedule for a break upwards. Speaking of that, if we go to our handy stock to income model, it is telling us giving us a projected price for Bitcoin right about now of 65,000, which is not far off from where we are right now at 58,000. And again, if you follow this model, it tells us that over the next 12 months, we should actually be exceeding 200,000. So a lot of return yet to be had here if this model is any guide. And it does seem, if you compare the price, which is in green here, with what the model suggests the price should be, that it was actually not a bad um, indicator to follow. Chart I wanted to show you the stat that you should keep in mind when you're investing. Every 1% change in global liquidity causes on average a 2% change in the S&P, either up or down. And right now, global liquidity has had a 4-year cycle. And right now, we're at the point in that cycle where global liquidity is scheduled to rise. And so it's not just Bitcoin that I think is, you know, has a date with the bull market, but assets in general, public equities specifically, should resume their bull run in earnest. Now, historically speaking, August has been a tough month for stocks. And in fact, the first week of August has been the toughest week for stocks. And that is all behind us, which is good. So we made it through the tough part. And I think the toughest part is now behind us. So, my message to you on this fine Friday would be to evolve and simplify our thinking about investing, and when is perhaps the most opportune time to be buying aggressively. When you think the money printer is about to turn on, that's when you start buying. Uh, you don't want to be the uh, pseudo intellectual who knows just enough to hurt themselves and complicates the task at hand for themselves. Really, the in terms of macro, the task at hand for investors is quite simple, and that is to determine where we are in the liquidity cycle and whether liquidity is set to rise or fall in the near future. And I think right now it's clear that liquidity levels are set to rise almost globally. So uh, there's almost no major economy that whose central bank has not signaled that there will be easing in liquidity conditions. Now, that's for macro. For micro and for picking out individual assets that will do great, then you have your PIF membership, which I encourage you to become a member of if you aren't already. Link to do so is in the description. Let's go to questions. Chocolate Walla says, don't know how I'll save up for my daughter's university here in the US. You know, something to consider are universities abroad. Now, I would set aside some money, and there are some, tax advantaged accounts for if you're in the U.S. There are tax advantaged accounts in different states that allow you to save for your children's education. So I would check those out. Many of them have some pretty decent options with regards to investing and comfort level from a halal perspective. Opinion on DCA into Solana? I don't think that's a bad idea. We do hold Solana in our portfolio still. Although I think with crypto in general, I mean, look at my video on Solana. I think that Solana has the best chance, but I wouldn't invest too much money in crypto generally, excluding I think Bitcoin being, the safest crypto asset. Assalamu alaikum Arkan. Walaikum salam. Is PIF waiting for the money printer to turn before buying aggressively? Well, without revealing too much of my moves, because that is privy to PIF membership. But yes, I'm sure you've noticed that I've been wading through this bottoming out of the markets, and inshallah, we will start buying again very soon now. Chocolate says, we'll check out what you mentioned. Jazakallah khair wa iyyakum chocolate. Always good to see you. What do you think about gold, and do you advise what percentage of person's wealth in gold? Well, actually, Firas, we had a pretty healthy discussion about that on Discord today, and I think that many people are comfortable with gold. The price of gold continues to appreciate, albeit not as much as Bitcoin, which I prefer. But if you're more comfortable with it, you have you can sleep better knowing that you hold a physical asset with a pretty reliable historical record of increasing in price. Then hold gold, and obviously the percentage of gold would be based on the risk level that you would like to take. Obviously, gold is considered to be low risk. So if you want to have a low risk portfolio, then you would skew it more towards these risk off assets like gold. However, I will say that if you look at the last 50 years, compare, let's say, public equities, the S&P versus gold, S&P has outperformed gold by a lot, and it's not even close. So with that, become a member if you haven't already. Leave a like if you enjoy these lives. And until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum, and peace be upon you all.